Where for? I don't only 4.
Yeah.
No. 7, 4. Yeah, 4.
All right. Good morning, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. Today is Friday, December 19th. Welcome to the Cleveland Planning Commission. We will now call the meeting to order. Where director is out today. Adam will be serving as interim. And so I'm going to turn it over to him to read our preamble and meeting instructions.
All right. Oh, we're going to do this first.
My apologies. Before we jump into our meeting procedures for today, we do want to take a moment of silence to remember Mr. Hunter Morrison. We have some information on the slide, both for those that are here present in the building as well as online. As you know, and what you can read here, and I'm sure many people had the great pleasure of knowing Mr. Morrison, unfortunately passed away this week. And so if you can all respectfully just take a moment of silence to remember former planning director and tried and true advocate here in the city of Cleveland. Thank you all. And I do, I'm sorry, Evelyn, just want to read, just in case folks are on the phone and unable to see the screen. Hunter Morrison, Cleveland's highly respected city planning director from 1980 to 2000, died early Tuesday in his sleep at home in Silver Spring, Maryland, according to members of his family. He was 77 years old. Serving under former mayors George Voinovich and later Michael White, Morrison insisted on design excellence from architects and developers and pioneered early efforts to connect downtown to Lake Erie with the construction of the North Coast Harbor. Morrison oversaw planning for the nationally acclaimed Gateway Sports Complex, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Key Tower, East Wing of the Cleveland Public Library's main branch, and revival of Playhouse Square, and other pivotal projects of 1980s and 1990s. Again, we send our greatest condolences and sympathy to all those that had the great honor of working and knowing Mr. Morrison. And thank you all for taking a moment of silence. Adam, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. All right. I swear we're going to record this and start 2026 off with a portion of the preamble. In compliance with notification requirements of Ohio's open meeting law in section 101.021 of the codified ordinances of Cleveland, Ohio, 1976, notice of this meeting has been publicly posted. All boards and commissions under the purview of City Planning Department conduct their meetings in a manner modeled after Robert's Rules of Order. Actions during the meeting will be taken by voice vote. Recusals from any vote during a conflict of interest should be stated for the record prior to the taking of any vote. In order to ensure that everyone participating in the meeting has the opportunity to be heard, we ask that online participants use the raise hand feature before asking a question or making a comment. The raise hand feature can be found in the participants panel on the desktop and mobile version and activated by clicking the hand icon. Please wait for the chair or facilitator to recognize you and be sure you select unmute and announce yourself before you speak. When finished speaking, please lower your hand by clicking on the raised hand icon again and mute your microphone. We will also be utilizing the chat feature to communicate with participants. The chat feature can be activated by clicking the chat button located on the bottom of the WebEx screen. Meeting activities being recorded via the WebEx platform. These proceedings are also being live streamed via YouTube. The requests to speak on a particular matter submitted through proper channels have been considered. We have also received emails from those who have provided written comment on a particular matter. Proper channels for comments are listed below. Communication with members of this body must follow proper channels for consideration. Any comments received by Wednesday noon deadline are collected by city planning staff and disseminated to commission members prior to any scheduled meeting. Proper channels for public comment: sending an email to cityplanning@clevelandohio.gov address with a comment or letter, calling or leaving a message at 216-664-2210, and sending a letter or dropping off comments at City Hall. Meetings rules and procedures. The chair will call each agenda item and then each applicant and will be invited to proceed through their presentation. Each presentation should be completed prior to the questions and comments from the commission in order to facilitate a smooth presentation. Once the presentation is concluded, the chair will ask planning staff to summarize design review advisory committee recommendations and any public comments received. Public comments received through the proper channels by the deadline are distributed to the commission members prior to the meeting. Staff will also identify any members of the public present and scheduled to speak. Public comment is allowed at the discretion of the chair, and any individual providing public comment is permitted 2 minutes to speak to the agenda item which they have interest. The chair will then request a recommendation from staff. The commission will then begin deliberations and project review. Any commission member except the chair may make a motion at any point after an agenda item has been called.
Thank you, Adam. Evelyn, can you call the roll, please?
Anthony,
Present.
Fluker,
Present.
McCray Scott,
Present.
Sargent,
Present.
Slife is not present, and Whitfield.
Present.
Wonderful.
We
Thank you
have
so
quorum.
much.
Yep.
Thank you, Evelyn. Our first order of business is to approve the minutes from the December 5th meeting. We've all had a chance to review these minutes in advance. They're available here if anyone does need to see them. We will need a motion for these minutes, please.
So moved.
I
Second.
second.
Second?
All
Call the
right.
roll, please.
Anthony,
Yes.
Fluker,
Yes.
McCray Scott,
Yes.
Sargent,
Yes.
and Whitfield.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Wonderful. Thank you, Evelyn. We do have a couple of zoning cases today. We'll hear from those cases first. This portion of the meeting is a public hearing, open to public comment and testimony. First, we'll hear from staff. They'll present the proposed rezoning. We'll hear any sponsored testimony from involved parties. Then we'll open the floor for public comment. Xavier, I'll turn it over to you. Thank you so much.
All right, good morning. My name is Xavier Bay. I'm a zoning planner in city planning. Today we're presenting to you map-specific rezoning here. And this is on Herman Avenue in between West 65th Street and 58th. And this is actually related to a project that you all previously approved in December of last year, the canopy at Herman Park. The proposal here, the real purpose for this is to allow the development to move forward as planned, to promote diversity of housing typologies and support diversity of transit options. Next slide, please. And so here, I just give you an aerial view of the location. This is just directly adjacent to Herman Park in the Detroit Shoreway neighborhood. It's an old industrial site surrounded by park space, residential space, and other industrial uses. And so here you can see some of that context along the street. There's, like I mentioned, a mix of housing typologies already nearby, and then further up the street, some more density. Here you can see the zoning of the property is semi-industry G2, and it's also located within the transit-oriented development zone. And the property is, like I mentioned, currently industrially zoned, surrounded by some more light industrial uses, and also adjacent to open space recreation and two-family zoning. And so here, the proposed zoning is a local retail G2, and we're also proposing to remove the MEP-specific setback that's on the property of 5 feet and replacing it with a 0-foot MEP-specific setback. And that's really to allow the project to continue to move forward with their pedestrian-friendly and amenities spaces that they're providing on Herman Avenue. Next slide, please. You can see the site development boundary, and this is really just to point out that this is a site-specific rezoning, and so the plan that was previously approved is going to be included within the legislation moving forward. Next slide, please. And so here I just have some slides to recap what was previously approved. The proposal is about 135 units. They're providing about 11,000 square feet of amenity space, which includes cafes, office spaces, things of that nature, even pool in the back. And they're providing 127 parking spaces. Next slide, please. We could just scroll on through these. The height is about 42 feet in height. And then I also included a lot of the renderings that they provided. Like I mentioned, just reminding you of the previously approved project. So this project is within the TOD zone, or transit-oriented development zone. And so within that zone, you're relieved of parking minimums. but you do have to adopt a transit demand management strategy. And so this slide just points out the purposes of that ordinance. So basically, it's a set of strategies that are aimed to support alternative mobility choices. It's focused on understanding how people interact with the existing infrastructure, as well as in encouraging developers to provide more support for alternative modes of transportation. Next slide, please. And so the importance of this is that since they're not meeting the parking minimum, they have to provide a strategy of specific tier based on their density. And so this project, being rather large, is going to be fit in a tier 5 of the transit demand management strategy. So they have to meet a certain amount of points based on their criteria. And so the next few slides, I go over the strategies that the developer decided to choose while working with city planning staff. And so just briefly going over some of these, they're providing transit options as far as displaying having kiosks in lobby areas that display transit information, so you could see what bus stops are nearby and real-time activity of those buses. They're providing car and parking options, so residents don't have to opt into a parking space if they don't have a car, and so they might have some cost savings with their rent. There's also 4 spaces that the developer's providing along Herman Avenue to support shared transportation pickups like Lyfts or Ubers, things of that nature, drop-off pickup. Parking delivery, they have cold storage and packing areas inside and central parking locations. Next slide, you'll see some more strategies they chose to adopt along active transportation. So they're actually improving a lot of the streetscape along Herman Avenue, refreshing, widening sidewalks, burying the power lines that are overhead, providing bike parking and public repair stations for bikes along Herman Avenue. So it's not only inclusive for the residents. This is something that everybody can access if they're on their way to Edgewater Park to the north or just visiting the park adjacent to the property. There's also indoor parking storage that they're providing with some more repair stations for residents, about 50 indoor bike storage spaces. Also, some of the family-oriented choices they have are based around the multi-bedroom design that they're choosing, as well as just being located nearby other amenities and other childcare services. And that's about it. This is just recapping the proposal here. Proposing to change from semi-industry G2 to local retail G2 and establishing that 0-foot map setback to really allow them to continue to move forward with the plan that was already approved, fitting with the context of the proposal and allowing them to continue that pedestrian-friendly streetscape. That's all I have. We do have the development team online, and Shannon Leonard is also online in case there's more detailed questions that I'm not able to answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Xavier. For the applicant that is online, are there any additional comments?
No, nothing additional.
All right. Just for the record, could you please state your name just so we know who's present?
Sure. This is Justin Strizzi with Heirloom, part of the development team.
Thank you. Shannon, did you have anything else that you wanted to add?
Good morning. No, I don't really have anything else to add. I'm just here for questions. This project has already gone through the full city planning review, and when they came in with their construction documents, it was determined that there was that specific map setback. And so generally speaking, there's no front yard setbacks in a semi-industry district. When you have a mapped setback that's on the map, that becomes the default setback. And so because this project is widely supported, we quickly moved to and determined that they couldn't push the building back to not need it. We quickly determined that a specific site rezoning was required here.
Okay, thank you. We will now take testimony from the public. We'll start with those proponents in the audience who are in favor of this zoning change, either present here in the room or online. Seeing none, we will now turn over to opponents, those that are opposed to the zoning changes. Okay, hearing none, we're going to close the public comment portion. I'm going to open up to my colleagues here to ask questions or provide comments.
Madam Chair, I just wanted to make one serious comment. I'm looking at like 50% of the people through antlers, so that's an interesting experience. It's like the table setting. Anyhow, Madam Chair, I'm going to move to approve a zoning change from G2 semi-industry to G2 local retail as presented. Second.
And I second.
We have a motion in 2 seconds. Evelyn, please call the roll.
Anthony,
Yes.
Fluker,
Yes.
McCray Scott,
Yes.
Sergeant,
Yes.
and Whitfield.
Yes.
Excuse me, it looks like Shannon raised her hand. I just want to make sure we're okay with the motion.
Yes, Shannon.
Can we clarify the motion for the site plan specific rezoning as presented?
Sure, I'm not following what you said, Shannon.
Yes, sorry, August. So this is a site plan specific rezoning. It is, obviously it's moving the local retail, but the entirety of it, the main portion of it is that it's a site plan specific. It's not just a general rezoning.
Okay, we can talk about that later. So I'm not really sure what you're telling me, but
I think it just needs to be phrased in the motion.
okay.
Yeah.
I like to revise my motion to include that this is a site plan approval allowing the property to be rezoned from G2 semi-industry to G2 local retail.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Should I call the roll again?
Yes. call the
Okay.
roll again.
Anthony,
Yes.
Fluker,
Yes.
McCray Scott,
Yes.
Sergeant,
Yes.
and Whitfield.
Yes.
Motion is approved.
Thank you. Our next item is a conditional use. We still have Xavier here. Pedestrian retail overlay for the Camelot Bakery. This project is located at 10401 Madison Avenue. I will turn it back over to you.
Thank you. Hello again. My name is Sarah Bay in the zoning section of city planning. Today, we're bringing forward this conditional use, which is along Madison Avenue. And so here there's a pedestrian retail overlay mapped. And so the proposal is to erect a new 9,976 square foot wholesale bakery. And so the property, as I mentioned, is in local retail on the PRO adjacent to a residential zoning to the south. And then there's some more industrial legacy zoning around the north. Next slide, please. There it is. So then you can see some of the street context up and down Madison Avenue and some of the side streets directly adjacent to this property. As I mentioned, the residential context and retail context. And so here, because the developer is not meeting this criteria specifically for having an interior side yard of 4 feet, they require conditional use. And that's really because the intent for the pedestrian retail overlay is to continue that building line form going up and down these more historical retail districts. And so here the proposal has about a 20-foot interior side yard, but they are providing bike racks along some of that empty space there, along with landscaping and screening to continue some of that pedestrian-friendly form. And so that's all I really have to explain. We do have the development team online as well.
Thanks, Xavier. And just to preview for my colleagues here, we do also have a design review case coming up related to this. Did you want to talk about that now, or do we want to wait?
So the motions will be separate. If you want to go ahead and hear the development team's design review package.
Point of clarification, this always confuses me
Okay, yeah.
when we do this way. And I don't know if it's a better way to do it, where you sort of bifurcate. I know they're 2 separate votes. It just seems like we should entertain it all, together, so it's grouped together. But I guess the other point I wanted to make is, I think the question is, we've seen this before, right?
Yes. Yes.
And so how are we now just finding out they need a zoning change? I guess I'm a little confused. It seems always backwards to me. We see the presentation, then we come back and ask for a zoning change. I don't know how we could be vetted differently so that we're aware when we approve it the first time that there may be a zoning change and what that might mean to us. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I believe so. I think there's a little bit of a trick here with design review cases and trying to get them set up for either the least amount of variance to the code possible. In this case, this is a larger kind of whole block site that the PRO is regulating, and with working with staff, I think working with the design actually alleviated at least 2 or 3 other conditions off the table for the PRO case. So it lessened it. That's why staff is comfortable now with it coming back.
Okay.
I get your
think,
point on like
Shannon
massaging
also
it
has a
though and
comment.
working through these stipulations.
Sorry, our zoning manager raised her hand online. Shannon?
Oh, Shannon. Go ahead, Shannon.
Yeah, good morning, Commission again. So as you know, the permit overhaul system has finally rolled out. And one of the benefits of that is that zoning will see it on the front end rather than, as it's going through the design review process. So it is our hope that with the permit overhaul system, that you all will catch these things, in the conceptual or schematic phase prior to the final, so that this won't continue to happen, that you see the conditional uses or variances needed at the end.
That's helpful.
Thank you, Shannon.
Okay, so we're gonna proceed, Xavier. Let's do the design review case. Evelyn, do we have a few folks online representing Meraki Architects?
Yeah.
Oh, here, present in the room. Awesome. Are you Mr. Moore?
No, Joe's here.
Joe's here. Yeah, let's just have everyone come up. That's gonna be part of this project.
We can share. Okay. Sure.
Okay, in a moment, I'm gonna have each of you state your name for the record, but I'll just give the oath now and then you can say yes. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth for this matter in the hearing under penalty of perjury?
I do.
Okay,
Yes.
if you can just state your name, each of you for the record, please.
Joseph Moore. Rick Josity. Joseph Starr.
Thank you. All right, so we're gonna hear the design review case. We'll come back to the PRO, as Xavier said, and we'll do 2 separate motions. So we'll turn it over to you all. Do they have the clicker or you're gonna do it? Okay, Evelyn will advance the slides for you all.
Okay, today we're presenting for final approval for Planning Commission. We've played with the color palette to an extent because we got to the point where we were dealing with actual obtainable colors. We've, introduced, this whimsical, mid-century modern thing in per the owner's request. And, we've provided landscaping along Madison Avenue. Final landscaping, dumpster.
And Mr. Moore, you can just kind of highlight specifically the things that the design review committee highlighted. Some of them you just already said, the lighting, the landscaping, additional lighting in the elevations, and about the materials.
Yeah, we will provide uplighting to the facade on Madison. Above the signage with the gooseneck light fixtures and below the canopy, with traditional LED downlights, and then concealed, semi-concealed lighting concealed in the accent band that extends the full length along Madison Avenue. Bike rack. I'm trying to, we've only presented to planning twice, so I'm trying to remember all the things in between. There were some issues concerning the fenestration along Madison Avenue as it pertained to the overlay district requirements. We introduced a series of horizontal glass block windows to mimic it and to provide security, or as much security as possible. per the owner's request.
Do we have any comments from staff?
Sure. Morning, Commission members, Nate Law, City Planner for the Far West region. This did go to design review this past Wednesday. It was approved in a 7-1 vote. And the conditions of approval were to provide lighting along the Madison Avenue elevation as well as the east and west sides of the building. To add landscaping along the western elevation, which would be West 105th Street. To look at a reduction in materials along the Madison Avenue elevation. They specifically cited metal 2, which is the blue metal, as feeling sort of out of place with the design. But ultimately it was approved and staff recommends approval with conditions that design review set.
Thank you.
I'd like to speak upon the material choices. If we can go back to the elevations. What we're trying to do is break up the facade along Madison to avoid looking like just a big warehouse. I know originally we had the blue color matching the sign of the teal color. However, again, back to Joe's point of trying to get real colors, that is not a real color for metal siding. So we decided to go with a blue rather than try to match the Camelot logo because it wouldn't match exactly. And what we feel that does is that really makes the Camelot logo pop as that on that tower element. And again, just introducing more materials to eliminate that big warehouse on a city block effect.
Thank you for that. Commission members, comments, questions?
Yeah, Madam Chair, I don't necessarily have an issue with all materials. It kind of reminds me of a quilt. And it really, the execution is going to come down in the detailing, right? How these materials come together, what sort of the trim looks like and flashing and copings. You just really need to work with the contractors you build this to do it well. If it's not done well, it could look like a hot mess, in my opinion. So.
I tend to agree more with the design reviews comments. I think, I tend to agree with less materials being better, especially on one side or one kind of view of an architectural element. I think potentially it looks like there's some materials that are oriented horizontally, some materials that are oriented vertically. I think potentially seeing a way to kind of systematically reduce that, if there's all the materials horizonted one way versus the other. I get the quote metaphor, but I think again the execution of this is going to be all up on the contractor to get it to look really right. And I'm personally just not a fan of a myriad of materials. I think potentially just if you want the pop of color, I would just carry that blue all the way through on the top. And even just that vertical element with the wood siding and the black below, I would just carry that through. It might make the front door pop more, and I don't know. I think a simplification would be beneficial here, but that's not our purview to make you do that.
You wouldn't like this hat I have there. I don't like mattress print.
It is not our. We can't make you do that.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I have to agree with all this. I think the building is fine. It's creative. It's different. And I really like it. I do.
Thank you so much. Obviously, these are our opinions. Ultimately.
No, we're not just making comments here. We're not here to nitpick. I think you need to work with staff. You need to work with staff to kind of figure out the final details. We're just giving us our opinions here. We're not going to hold anyone to anything.
Can we put back up the conditions so we can make a motion?
We're actually going to do the PRO first,
Okay.
and then we'll come back to the design review, please. So any other comments before we move on? Okay, so if we can please go back to page 4 for commission members and start with the motion for the PRO, that would be great.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve the pedestrian retail overlay with the conditional use request that the interior side yard be greater than 4 feet.
Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Evelyn, please call the roll.
Anthony,
Yes.
Fluker,
Yes.
McCray Scott,
Yes,
Sergeant,
Yes.
and Whitfield.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you so much. Next, we're going to move on to the design review. And yes, Evelyn, if you can put the conditions back up on the screen. For the person that's going to make the motion, if you can please note that this is for final and that the applicant will work with staff for any of these final recommendations from design review.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve W 2025-15 Camelot Bakery for final approval. And that the applicants will work with staff on the conditions outlined by design review.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Roll call, please.
Anthony,
Yes.
Fluker,
Yes.
McCray Scott,
yes,
Sergeant,
Yes.
and Whitfield.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Awesome. Thank you all.
Good luck.
All the best
Thank
to
you.
you.
Happy holidays.
Yes.
Happy holidays. Xavier, you're doing this one as well? Okay. Next up, we have another design review case, also in the Far West Design Review District. This is FW 2025-18, Ihsan Signage. This is located at 4600 Rocky River. We'll hear from Xavier first, but we do have the project representative here. If you can please state your name and then just respond to the oath. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth for this matter now in hearing under penalty of perjury?
I do.
Yes, and your name for the record, please.
Jim J.P. Potacek.
Awesome. We'll hear from Xavier first, and then we'll turn it over to you.
All right, thank you. Again, my name is Xavier Bay, a zoning planner with City Planning. Next slide, please. So the proposal here is new signage for the Ihsan School and Mosque. And so they're proposing two signs that are actually incorporated into the fencing here. And so these two signs are coming before you because they're located within a residential zoning district, and they're proposing to be rather close to the parcel lines. And so here you can see the existing zoning of the property is residential. They're surrounded by residential. Rocky River Drive actually has a hodgepodge of zoning that we're looking at rezoning this corridor in the future to be more in alignment with the current land uses. And so here you can see an aerial view of the campus. As you are kind of familiar with this property, we've seen them multiple times for different cases. And the signage proposal is going to be on the two corners of Rocky River Drive. And so here you can see some more that, you can go to the next slide, please. You can see more of the context on the street. There's some vacancy, but they're actually proposing to infill with the market nearby. And they're across the street from other multifamily uses. Next slide, please. And here I just show you the reasons you're actually seeing this. This commission has the jurisdiction to vary the sign code to be more or less strict than the regulations required in 350, section 350 of the zoning code. And really you're determining to approve off of a set of criteria, as you see in the following bullet points: design compatibility, design guidelines, and minimum variation from the zoning code. Next slide, please. And so the variances requested here are because the signage is proposed about 7 feet and 7 feet 8 inches to the property line. And so because you're in a residential district, community facility uses have to be a minimum of 20 feet from property lines. And so the variance requested are listed on the slide, but I believe we also started adding them into your pamphlets in front of you. And so you can see the variance request here is 13 feet and 13 feet and 8 inches. And so next slide, design approval is also required because this is a community facility use. They basically have to get their final approvals through BZA, but this body has to first agree on if they think the design, placement, and type of sign is suitable. Next slide, please. And so that wraps it up. Again, you're conditioning your considerations off of if the signage is suited in the right place, you know, if it's contextual, and deciding if the variances are minimum to the code. Thank you.
Xavier, turn it over to the applicant. Any additional items you'd like to add to this?
You've seen many of these slides before, so I will hopefully not not belabor this. This is the same fence treatment that we had. The placeholder that we had in there was for a sign. They were looking at adding a 4x8 LCD sign that, if I can go back to one slide before, that replaces that existing, it's a two-sided, 32 square foot, externally illuminated sign. That location is essentially the same. We're just rotating it for the stoplight condition, and to basically, as part of this, enclose as a first phase the playground area. And then as the school gets built, they'll just continue to wrap around. So they'll add the second sign at the other corner. So it's just bookending, two-sided sign, splitting it in half and anchoring it to the corners. We tried to design the fencing so that it's a better placeholder, looks intentional, fits the proportion of the sign. But again, we're here because we're here. So.
Thank you so much, sir. Open up to the commission members for comments or questions.
I just wanted to know, well, first of all, there's a church across the street from my house and they put a digital sign in. And I had concerns because my bedroom's on the front of the house. About, it feels like you're in a cheesy hotel with the marquee lighting flashing, right, or running. How is there technically, maybe, you could look into this, at night when it's pretty dark, that could glow regardless of its scrolling or whatever. Mm-hmm. Are you able to have it dim it? Can you have a driver's dim after dusk so that illumination is not so brilliant? And I can't speak to the technical aspects of the brightness, how many lumens it produces right now. But I do know that there was a condition of Far West Design Review to minimize the brightness because we are in a residential context, both across the street and literally across both of the side streets at that point. So that's been an awareness that's been brokered back to us and was a condition of the approval at that point. So that is something that is going to be looked into from a technical aspect as well. Thank you. One thing I did neglect, we didn't present this specifically at the Far West Design Review, but our presentation did include, there is actually one other context just up the street from us as well, that is a comparable LED sign, basically just its Holy Cross. So we're at the mosque down here, you just go a little bit further up. So it's kind of similar. It's a little bit, depending at their direct, just set back off of the right-of-way about 10, 11 feet, but it's about 10 foot long. So square footage wise, it's comparable. It's also a church and school. So, the other thing, and I think this was probably why the imam had brought it up first. It's like, well, they have one. So we would love to have one. So that's, again, just context.
Okay, understand.
Madam Chair, to the applicant, the sign is programmable. If you go back to the detail font, just looks really, the actual detail drawing, I think the font just looks really small, but I'm assuming that's a programmable sign, you can change out.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay. I just wanted to double check.
Sorry, we're testing all our eyes today.
Yeah. Who's reading that?
Awesome. If there are no other comments or questions, I'll ask for a motion and just please note the conditions as written here from Design Review.
Madam Chair, I'll take a swing at it. For design, Far West 2025-18, I move to approve with the following stipulations that they're requesting, the variance is for 13 feet and 13 foot 8 inches versus 7 and 7 foot 8 inches. That they also look at the sign from a technical standpoint to see if they can adjust the brightness during certain times of the day, specifically when it's dark or dusk. Thank you.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Evelyn, please call the roll.
Anthony,
Yes.
Fluker,
Yes.
McCray Scott,
Yes.
Sargent,
Yes.
and Whitfield.
Yes.
Excuse me,
Motion.
sorry.
Oh.
I believe you have to also include the design placement of the sign as well. Could you actually go back to, Evelyn, could you go back to the variant slides? Specifically the placement design of the electronic sign.
Okay, I'd like to amend my motion to include the placement of the sign as part of the stipulations stated before.
Thank you. We don't need to do the roll again.
All right. Motion has been amended and still is approved.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
All the best.
Thank you. And thank you for making this festive. This
Oh,
is
you're so welcome.
happy holidays.
I'm taking all the credit. Looking at Evelyn like, no credit taken. Thanks, Xavier. We are moving on to the Central Southeast Design District. First up on the docket is CSE 2025-46. This is a demolition at 6405 Francis Avenue. We have Wu here. You are an employee, so I do not need to swear you in.
All right, good. Good morning. How you doing? All right. So this is the demolition at 6405 Francis. It's just a nuisance structure. Next slide, please. So this is owned by the Elizabeth Baptist Church. They've owned it since 2021. And it looked like the main structure has been condemned since January of 24. There's been 3 complaints and 2 board ups since then. The property has been vacant since at least 2021. And Councilman Starr has been in contact with the church, and they don't have any plans on doing anything with this one. And if you could just slide through this, they did have a lot of properties over there, and they have plans for other stuff, but not this particular property. So if you can just slide through the pictures. And they did start on it, but it's in pretty bad shape and it needs to go. And another thing is that next door, previously we've already demolished it, but there was a woman that was found deceased, and we want to kind of mitigate that in this area. So we're bringing this forth. All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Wu. Commission members, comments, questions?
Madam Chair, question for Wu.
Yes, sir.
How's the track record going collecting money from, the property owners after the how's that look? Is it 7% rate success?
Oh, no, it's not that great. I'll be honest. I wouldn't be able to put a percentage on it, but I think, it's not, maybe like less than 10%.
Wow. Okay. So. All right, I was curious. I mean,
Yeah, no, we don't. Usually they're usually out of state, unless we sue them too if they have assets, and then our law firm that we hired does what they gotta do.
Yeah.
Yep.
No. Well, obviously we have to rid our communities of these nuisances. So I get it. We can't just let that sit there. So,
Yep.
okay. Well, Madam Chair, I would like to make a motion to approve the demolition as stated. It appears to meet all the criteria for demolition.
I
Thank you. Do we have
second.
a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second, multiple seconds. Evelyn, please call the roll.
Anthony,
Yes.
Fluker,
Yes.
McRae Scott,
Yes.
Sergeant,
Yes.
and Whitfield.
Yes.
Motion is approved.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to
Thank
you
you.
too. Moving on to the Euclid Corridor Buckeye Design Review. Next up, we have EC 2025-040, Unity 6. Do we have Fred Wolf? We have a whole crew. Hello. All right. Please make sure, if you want to slide that mic down so you each have one. And just please make sure that it's on green. I'm going to do the oath, and then if you all can just approve that and then state your name for the record, that would be great. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth for this matter under perjury, in hearing under perjury of, get my words out, penalty of perjury. Sorry, my brain is already jumping to the holidays.
Yeah.
Yes, and then if you can each just state your name for the record, please.
Fred Wolf. Brandon Young.
Hi, Olivia Diop.
Awesome. Evelyn, we'll have your design slides up here, and we'll just advance. Just let her know when you want to advance on to the next slide, please.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for meeting with us. We're putting together a proposal for the northwest corner of Capitol and East 89th Street in the Euclid Buckeye corridor. We've been working with Olivia and her team at Black Lux for the past couple of months for developing what are just vacant lots, kind of situated amongst vacant lots in the area or housing that is in need of improvement. So this is our site situated between Beckman and Capitol, the northwest corner of East 89th, across the street from a unit that they currently own and are, operating out of
Yes.
All right. Just to put in, could you, Madam Chair, I'm sorry, could you identify the major streets that it's close to?
Yeah, so this is right off of Opportunity Corridor. The juvenile justice system is actually right cut off on the corner of
Okay,
East
that
93rd
helps.
Street.
Thanks. I was trying to orient myself.
And there's like a walking bridge, the connection over the railway to Opportunity Corridor. Yeah.
Yes.
So some context imagery. Well, if you look at the right, hold on, you want to go back a slide? One more, yeah. Yeah, so some of the current immediate adjacent lots, I think in the upper left-hand corner, that house has since been demolished. The one in the upper right-hand corner that's being worked on right now is one that the team has revitalized, and it turns out looking pretty good. Lot to the south, if you look, the bottom left picture there, it's just a vacant lot. And then the lots to the west, it's just two front-facing gables. And I believe the lot closest to the tree line is going to be a part of the development as well. So we can go to the next slide. Some views up and down East 89th, just kind of showing that is kind of that's one of the focuses that we're trying to do is kind of adapt to a little bit of the context that's there. But again, there's a lot of vacant lots that we're working around. So we kind of use that as a little bit of flexibility as to what we can define our housing to be. We can continue on. So these are the lots as they stand currently, kind of situated for the standard style of housing where they're deep lots, kind of thin frontages. And then this is the proposed condition where we will consolidate and split to allow for six individual buildings to sit on separate parcels, and then a separate parcel for the parking, the little park that we're putting in the back there, a little free library and a dog park. And there'll be mixes of 1 bedrooms and 2 bedrooms stacked buildings. We can get to the floor plans. Yeah. So this is the 1 bedroom, an efficient layout. These are the 2 bedrooms, a little bit more space, obviously, to accommodate the 2nd bedroom, some exterior elevations, defining exterior materiality, at least to a degree that we can determine lap siding, board and batten, any sort of trim, and then some exterior renders that we put together to kind of fully envision what we're proposing. So, either you guys else, if there's anything else you guys want to contribute, if there's anything else.
Yeah, I'll just say, if you could go back to the site plan, I think one point that we want to make is that we did a couple different iterations for the layout for the site. What we kind of landed on was this scheme where we provide 14 spaces with a nice, fire lane drive aisle up to the parking lot to access the back of these buildings. But we did try to prioritize having some sort of amenity space to park kind of in the back of the lot, which will be illuminated, benches, the free library. I think, we'll study landscaping for that as well. But I think do want to also mention the 2 parcels, and maybe Olivia could speak a little bit more about this, but potentially future development to connect to those parcels as well.
Yes. So again, I currently live on 89th Street, directly across from these parcels. They did just demolish on the vacant lot right adjacent to the building 1. So that's currently with the treasurer's office to foreclose on that property. So it is a little bit of a process for us to have been able to purchase those, but we do in the future have plans to extend this into those lots, which is why we didn't have a parking lot take over those spaces. And instead we would add additional parking later on.
Yeah. Adam, just a quick question from the comments in the agenda here. Can you speak a little bit to that parking variance? So I guess I'm trying to understand from what Olivia just said as far as holding out a bit to see if they can obtain those other parcels. You can just specify what the variance would be? Is it for now or something in the future?
Yeah, well, the future, I guess, once they would file like a building permit, you get highlighted for that parking variance need. So I think staff is basically saying like we're supportive of the parking variance if it needs to come.
Gotcha.
Because they're outside of a TDM area, they don't get that relief off the bat. But either on street or through this other scenario, I think we can adequately come to a resolution within that.
Yeah.
They're being flagged for it because of the multiple units, the structure. So the 1-for-1 ratio isn't met. That's the code outside of kind of commercial districts at the moment.
Okay, thank you for that. Thank you.
I think Shannon might have raised her hand. Shannon, did you have something to say?
Yeah, I just want to flag for the commission that this entire site's going to need a rezoning for this project proposal. The setbacks on Capitol are roughly 20 to 30 feet. And so I just want to put it in front of you, as August always requests, that something like this is definitely going to need a rezoning. And so we haven't discussed that internally. We had a brief discussion with the city planner for this area when this came before, I believe, the agenda meeting a couple weeks ago. But it's definitely going to need a rezoning here for this to go forward as it's currently designed, as it relates to the site plan.
Thank you for flagging that, Shannon. I will open up to my colleagues for any questions or comments.
Just a couple comments. First of all, I commend you all. There needs to be more development around Opportunity Speedway. Yes, I did say Speedway because that's what it is right now. Unfortunately, also like to commend you for trying to create the sort of the market. Sometimes you have to be out front in order to do it. I mean, the numbers sometimes and appraisals might not say it's where it should be, but sometimes you have to create that market. So that's really great. And I like the housing. Obviously, you're creating density without doing an apartment building, and it's more dignified living if you can get the density up, and people tend to have their own entrance, right? And so I commend you there, and I believe the simplicity of the design is wonderful. So thanks for that.
Thank you.
Thank you, August.
I would agree. The one comment maybe to staff is to add some color on what the fencing placement comment is. I don't think we should touch material finishes on the building rear and window patterns. I think that's up to the architect. I think they've done a good job, but wanted to understand the comment about fencing placement.
Morning, Kim Scott, City Planning. The fencing was around I think it would be the northern border, correct? If you go back to the site plan, and I know you did a good job yesterday of outlining everything that we were talking about, so we don't have that opportunity here today, but the part that juts out to the right, that portion is adjacent to vacant parcels that they are interested in acquiring. And so if that's the case, it kind of doesn't make sense to necessarily fence that portion off.
Gotcha.
So the committee wanted clarity about that.
Good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We do plan on adding some fencing though, especially behind where the trash is, all the way around. There is, just to add some, for the residents in the homes on the other side with parking and congested people right there, we don't want it to be obnoxious,
Right.
like especially in the evening time. So to put a privacy fence to be able to counteract some of that noise, as well as the vacant lots and the existing garage in the back, those both already do have fencing around there. So just adding additional privacy fencing there as well.
Thank you for that clarification.
So you would show that fencing, and as temporary as it may be, when you come back for, okay, that's good. I'm excited to see this happen. I've happened to work in the area for a lot of years, and that's been a difficult site. Probably less important in some other parts of the community. And August, you know how we've been there many, many times. So very happy to see this. And I look forward to a completed project.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is that a motion?
That being said, go ahead, bro. Thank you, Madam Chair. That being said, I'll move for approval, conceptual approval of this project as presented.
And I
He just
second.
mentioned I'm sorry, just mention about the conditions from design review, please.
So we have, conditions. One of the greatest is we'll need rezoning ultimately. And was anything else? Just rezoning. To note that rezoning will be required to make this project move forward.
We have a motion and a second. Evelyn, please call the roll. McCray Scott, yes.
Yes.
Anthony,
Yes.
Fluker,
Yes.
McCray Scott,
Yes.
Sergeant,
Yes.
and Whitfield.
Yes.
Motion is approved.
Madam Chair, just a little bit of commentary.
Yes.
They're asking for conceptual. I don't think they need to come back 2 more times. So
Grab them schematic.
exactly. That's what I was thinking.
You said I didn't hear the last
I
part.
said, if we follow the protocol and procedures, they would have to come back 2 more times.
Oh, gotcha.
I think they're
Correct.
far enough along to just do a schematic and a final.
Correct.
I'm good with that.
If you could amend your,
We're gonna make a brief amendment.
Well, we'll amend my motion to move from this stage to a final approval your next visit. And we don't need to do a schematic.
For clarification, we're motioning for schematic approval.
Correct.
So that you only have to come back one more time for final approval.
Got it.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, so I will amend my, here we go. Well, amend my motion. This will be for schematic approval. So you'll get to come back one more time.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Awesome.
second. Well, we already voted, right? Never
There you
mind.
go.
Good luck.
Thank you so much. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Thank you for catching that. All right, we have one more design review case for Downtown Flats District. This is DF 2025-044, 750 prospects for a billboard. We have a couple of project representatives and we also have staff present. Do we have project representatives online?
Yeah, everybody's online.
They're
today.
online, okay. All right, for those that are online, I'm just gonna swear you in. We'll hear from staff first, but just so we can have that done. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth for this matter and hearing under penalty of perjury?
Yes.
I do.
Okay, and if those online applicants, can you please state your name for the record?
My name is Yumna Siddiqui.
And my name is Jabran Sher Mohammed.
Awesome, thank you. We'll hear from staff first and then we'll turn it over to you all.
Oh, do you have a clicker?
I'm looking through.
Oh, okay.
The staff first.
If Shannon wanted to mention anything, otherwise we could let them proceed and I'll follow up.
Shannon, did you have anything you want to say before we turn it over to the applicant?
Yeah, so I'll let you know that this is a request to convert a non-conforming existing billboard at this location to a electronic changeable copy or digital billboard, if you will. The site condition, the requirements to allow for a single change to a single panel, a non-conforming billboard change to a single digital panel requires that specific site conditions are met that they will talk through here as well as Dan. So you do have the ability to approve the exchange from static to digital as so long as they meet these specific site conditions.
Yeah, and I'll
Thank
go
you.
into detail on those.
Okay. Thank you, Shannon. We're going to turn it over to the applicant now to go through the presentation.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you to the commission for allowing us to share this presentation. As mentioned, we're talking here about a digital conversion. We operate an existing static billboard, 4,200 square feet, and we're looking to convert that to an 1,875 square foot billboard, which includes kinetic light wash. If we go to the next slide. So the conversion to digital has some benefits for the community. Namely, we can incorporate art and community content onto the screen. So we will dedicate 20% of the time on the screen to art and community content, which will be curated by our community engagement team. And also any unsold time on the screen would be dedicated to art and community content. We have in-house a community engagement team that works with local nonprofits as well as artists to bring their content to the screen and bring them more attention in the neighborhood. And the billboard also has this color kinetic lighting on the perimeter, which is a nice way it will be coordinated with ad content, but it's also a nice way to connect with, like holiday events and things. We can program it to coincide with that. If you go to the next slide. So this is the location plan, and the next slide is a little bit more the detail of the location. These are just application requirements. It is a wall-mounted sign on an existing building. Fantastic. So the way this is located, it is aligned with the windows on either side, and then it is centered on the facade. We could go to the next slide. So, this is the existing condition, and the next. And so here's our proposed sign. So what we were looking to do is to kind of create a band of light across the top, right? So we have this illuminated area across the top. And obviously we're also going to repair the wall and kind of clean things up where we had removed that banner. Fantastic. So our community engagement team is already active in the Cleveland area. We operate the Ike in digital kiosks. And here's listed a number of partners that we're already working with in both Cleveland and Ohio. And the next page, we can see some letters of support from some of our current partners, which, I won't read. The next slide. So we don't have a large digital screen in Cleveland. So I wanted to share some examples of our art curation outside of Cleveland, because this is what we'd like to bring. This is the Sunset Spectacular in West Hollywood. And here we partner with arts institutions, kind of the big museums, as well as curate our own arts program. In the next slide. This is 237 or 235 Peachtree in Atlanta. This is one where we've worked with really a variety of community arts organizations. So the image on the left is a local artist. The upper left is something we did during COVID with a group called Living Walls that kind of put out really positive messaging when people were shut in. Lower left is a group called For Freedoms that we work with nationally, and they really engage artists to speak to social issues. And then the far right is a program that we curated, which was a vote and a nonpartisan voter participation campaign we did. It's a piece by Tamashi Jackson. We commissioned a number of artists to develop content across the country. The next slide. You should go to the next one. So if you hit that, yes, it will play. So we're really enthusiastic, of course, also about new technology. This is a sign that we have in West Hollywood, which is, this screen that we're proposing here will also be capable of carrying 3D content. You can go to the next one. And we work with both advertisers as well as artists to develop 3D content. This is a piece by a multimedia artist named Rashad Newsom. And you can advance this whenever you want. So a lot of questions came up when we were at Downtown Flats about brightness control. So I wanted to speak a little bit more in depth about that. So our sign, newer signs and our signs all have an ambient light sensor incorporated into them, right? So that they will automatically change their luminance, right? Their output, their light output throughout the day. So as it gets darker, the light level will turn down. And at night, we set it so that it's operating at 300 candelas per meter square. This is kind of a standard that we've used across the country. This is the equivalent of a computer monitor, right? And then we're also preparing, now that is at the surface of the screen. We're currently preparing a photometric study that speaks to the incremental distributed light output in the neighborhood. So we'll have that to share. And as you may know, across the street, there is an operating digital sign at the 9 garage. This is an entertainment district, but we certainly want to take serious doing that photometric study. We will have no audio. And as mentioned, this is going to be a high resolution LED. We're looking at an 8mm or greater, or which would be a lower number. You can go to the next slide. Another question that came up at the Downtown Flats design review was one of traffic impacts. We routinely install signs in entertainment districts, in downtown entertainment districts, and this is where we're placing this sign as well. So I wanted to provide a couple of comparable projects so we can kind of see how we're operating these in other locations. I couldn't find traffic counts for all the streets referenced here. So what I used as a benchmark was something called a geopath impression. Geopath is a ratings agency that's used in out of home, and they measure the impact of a sign, right? So, and this is primarily driven by vehicular visibility, but also scale, orientation, right? So this is really, in a way, what cars are going to see. So the current sign at 750 Prospect has 400,000 impressions. If you look in the lower right-hand corner, you can see we have a sign in Atlanta, which is almost an equivalent configuration, right? We've got two streets meeting. And this one has lower busyness, 256,000 impressions, but no issues. I think that the sign I would like to share with you is at Sunset and La Cienega, which is an incredibly heavily trafficked corridor where Sunset Boulevard and La Cienega dies into Sunset Boulevard. This one has 2.5 million impressions, right? And so we routinely operate these signs in these locations where we have unusual intersections and really high traffic counts. And I think it's just part of an entertainment district. So we can go to the next slide. So we are working on a few items for final review. We did get a request from Downtown Flats that we provide a little bit more detail on our kind of design process, so we'll build that out for them. As I mentioned, we're going to do a photometric analysis, which will speak to the incremental light output in the neighborhood as a result of this sign, and that'll be focused on nighttime conditions. And then also this issue of the landscape improvement was mentioned. The code requirement for this sign requires that is very prescriptive. It tells you like there's a certain amount of landscape improvement you need to provide at the base of the sign, but it's really not written for a wall-mounted sign. It's written for a freestanding sign. So we're working with staff to identify a fiscal agent that we can work with. We'd like to make a monetary contribution so that we can satisfy the requirement in the code, and that an agent that's working actively in the neighborhood can help us oversee a really meaningful landscape improvement. There's a lot of work happening right now in the neighborhood, and since we don't really know when each tenant is going to do what, it's trickier for us to do the work ourselves. So that's my presentation. Please let us know what questions you have.
Thank you so much. And over to you first.
Yeah, thank you. And good morning, everybody. I'm glad we made it in despite all the weather we're having. And appreciate Yuma and her team for joining us virtually today. I'm just going to take you through a quick staff report and talk through some of the code issues and what's required of the applicant and some of the code context around billboards downtown as well. Then we'll delve a little bit more into those site and landscape, streetscape improvements, and then really talk about pushing the arts and technology, what's available now. I know that also came up during our COSM review. I wanted to showcase some of that and look at the opportunity here as well. So just for code context, typically if this were a new billboard, they would need several variances, and we don't typically see billboards like new billboards coming through the commission for downtown because they're just strictly not permitted in the code. So the zoning district they would need a variance for. The size is too large, it's too high, it's spaced too close to other existing billboards, both to the east and west, and it's located within the district that it needs to be a distance away from, as well as the illumination, new billboards can't be internally illuminated, backlit, and they cannot have automatic changeable copy. In this case, because it's an existing billboard, they are permitted both to maintain, repair, but also replace and upgrade, as so long as they meet these 5 conditions that, before this body. Those 5 conditions are site and design improvements, the degree of nonconformity, location, sign type, and changeable copy. So I'll dig into that a little bit here. First, starting with 2 through 5. So essentially, as this comes through the body today, what you're considering are, in the case of degree of nonconformity, that it can be no greater in size, height, or number of panels, and they do comply with that today. It will be smaller. It is the same number of panels. It's actually slightly lower. The location, it has to be placed in precisely or about the same spot, unless we determine that there's a better location on the site. Through our review, we don't feel like there is a better location, just being on the wall there. The sign type, this is a change. So in the case of the code, it should be the same sign type, which is currently more of a banner type billboard, but they are wanting to change and upgrade to a digital sign, which is allowable, but it is something to consider. Your considerations would be determining that this different sign type would be more compatible with the subject property or nearby properties. So in that case, we think of things like the entertainment district being at Gateway and the hub with Playhouse Square. In terms of changeable copy, they are allowed to provide that in an upgraded condition, as long as it's limited to 1 panel. So they meet that, and changeable copy shall remain fixed for 8 seconds. So that's something to consider. This code was truly written back when billboards were only really capable of like flashing brightly and things like that. So, and I think all of our lives have completely changed digitally in that sense. So these are much smoother graphics. You look at Playhouse Square or the 9 across the street, they have movable graphics. So we've typically, the commission is able to vary on sign code in that way. So that's something to ensure as part of your motion. Going back to the first one, and this is the one that I think matters the most, because at this stage they're seeking conceptual or schematic approval. So they'll be back again for final, but they haven't.
We actually have it written as final.
Oh, okay. Well, they're seeking schematic.
I think that's just a typo on my part. We'll list them as schematic.
Okay, thank you.
And so what we want to see them come back with is actually required in the code. And as Yuma mentioned, it's a little bit, it's not very prescriptive on purpose. It's vague to give, billboards could be anywhere. It's giving the applicant, basically saying, hey, you need to make some upgrades, and depending on your site, those may be different. So what it's actually saying is that the site shall be landscaped and otherwise improved through the use of an ornamental base or frame, a streamlined support structure, or similar features affected. So this is really to Yumna's point, it's really written for a billboard out in a field on a pole, right? Which is more typical. In this case, we have 0 lot lines. It's on a wall. There's no vegetation. What the code tries to do is give applicants a sense of what they should be planning on. So they describe minimum landscape requirements. They're pretty base level: shrubs at a certain height, at a certain distance, interval every 4 feet, that the planning shall extend the full width of the billboard panel, and that all portions of the site will be landscaped with grass or other vegetative cover between the billboard and the right-of-way. So obviously, we're not going to ask them to put in a green roof or, a green wall, but and you could go to the next slide. There are some really interesting things happening in the neighborhood right now with the one-way pair system. And you could jump to the next slide. In this area, we're really imagining improvements to the streetscape. And that's really where we're focused with this applicant. And we have a couple tenants and owners right in these buildings who are interested in patio expansions. So trying to get creative in interpreting what site improvements would mean for a billboard like this, we're really thinking, hey, this new city project has provided this additional space in that cream color for patio expansions. Could this be an opportunity for the owner of the building who is also interested in patio expansions to work with OBM on providing additional resources for those expansions? So if you jump to the next slide, this is what it looks like on Street View. So City Tap is there. Both of these restaurants have double frontages on Prospect and Huron, and both City Tap and the future Urban Meyer Tap House in the red brick building there that is planned have come to us with a request to expand those patios. So it feels like there's great synergy here, both on both sides of the street. And this would be a major change, I think, for the area if we could actually expand those zones. So that covers the site and landscape. The applicant is working very diligently on that. They've been talking with the owner. Tom Yablonsky actually has a preservation easement on these buildings. He's been working for many years to bring more of an entertainment display to this location. So he's interested in partnering. DCI is also interested in potentially being a fiscal agent. So those things are being worked out, and we hope to have more details for you at final review. And then the other condition that I'm recommending, because this is such a premier site, and because billboards are essentially, new billboards are, just not permitted in this district, when we have opportunities to really do something special, it's only at existing locations. And so you can hit the next slide. What I wanted to showcase to the commission was some of the kind of cutting edge work that is going on around, digital arts and technology in downtown spaces. So this is a work by Nari Ward in Denver. Orange Barrel Media is actually responsible for this work. And just to show how innovative these are, and especially in our conversations about COSM, I think this is really starting to get at what we're trying to accomplish with these entertainment districts and pushing the envelope of what can happen with all this new development in downtown Cleveland, and really give us those things that we've been seeing in other cities. So OBM has the capabilities. They've been bringing in nationally and internationally recognized artists. Several of those artists have actually been shown at the Museum of Contemporary Art and Cleveland Museum of Art, of which they already have a partnership with MoCA Cleveland, and I believe they're building partnerships with CMA as well. So this is an opportunity where we could really bring digital arts to our city. And so what we want to do is below the screen itself, thinking about that new blank wall and how projections can occur there as part of this approval that would, further enhance the arts and entertainment value of such a premier site. So that's my staff report. I did want to just mention to Yumna's points about Downtown Flats design review. They're already working on each of the conditions that the committee had applied. So they're going to come back with some design studies around how they got to the location on the building. The committee kind of wanted it to squeeze in a little bit more from the edges, and light kind of flowing out into neighboring properties and residences was a concern. They're working on the light study already, and they've already provided the nighttime rendering. And they're working on the site and landscape improvement plan. So that's all I have.
Thank you so much, Dan.
I would like to clarify again, this has a typo. It says final, but this is for schematic approval.
Thank you so much, Evelyn. I will open up the floor to my fellow commission members. Questions, comments?
I think a pretty thorough staff report.
Yeah.
I don't think have any stipulations or comments on it. I think we would generally, if it's comfortable with the commission members, to motion for approval with the conditions outlaid, some of which have already been kind of in study or will be studied by the applicant, but then also the conditions laid out by Dan as part of the planning staff with regards to the streetscape improvements with the one repair and expansion of patios, but then also the expansion to provide enhanced technological capabilities and projection and all those kind of things below the new sign.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. Evelyn, please call the roll.
Andy,
Yes.
Luker,
Yes.
McCray Scott,
Yes.
Sargent,
Yes.
and Whitfield.
Yes.
Motion is approved with conditions.
I would just like to make a comment. I'm glad we're starting to embrace technology, number one.
Yes.
And even to consider how we start to create and define space better. I mean, because it's been done in lots of other cities, and I think we need to up our game. So I'm happy this is being considered.
Yes. I agree. I think it's long past due. And I think we've all traveled. We've seen what happens in other cities. And I think this will bring new life and energy into the area. So we're looking forward to this and looking forward to some more.
Agree.
Yeah, I think we need to encourage it.
Awesome. Thank you, Yuma, to the applicant and Dan for a really thorough report today. Awesome.
Thank you.
We have,
Thank
of course. Have a nice holiday. Adam, do you have a director's report for
Just
today?
a couple things. We have an update from Tara from a mural that was approved in 2023. She finally this guy's gotten really popular. We finally locked him down for a scheduled installation in September 26th. His name's Guaro Cobra. So she wanted you to be aware of that forthcoming. It's so long ago. Apparently he's gotten really popular. Congratulations to him. Yeah, exactly. Also wanted to throw up a summary of the proposed amendments for the rules. A subset of the members here have been having these discussions over the past year or so. I think we can either go through these or the plan is also to throw them on our website for public info purposes in early January. And then I think the idea would be to formally adopt them to the January 16th meeting too.
Yeah, director and I spoke earlier this week.
Okay.
And figured giving folks a couple weeks, of course, to review it. But no need to get into detail today.
Okay. Yeah, we'll send around the full doc to everybody. It's there was a couple outstanding questions with our law department that we had to get it figured out, so we didn't have it polished for this meeting. And then as kind of an addendum to this billboard presentation, I know Shannon and I gave you that presentation a while ago on billboards and what kind of the direction that we would like to go. I think we're still really figuring that out with the law department too on some specifics of those items. So I think this is a different case, but I think a formal policy for the rest of them outside of downtown is also valuable too. So it's coming in the new year too.
Also, to Director, I would like to suggest that in the future, as a part of our maturation and education, bring stuff like that to us so we understand what our charge is as a board to kind of refresh that muscle. Because, we don't see a lot of these, and then when we come, it's a little bit overwhelming because there's a lot of moving parts there.
Yeah, fair. I think hopefully we'll probably see a little bit more. I mean, it seems like my just kind of observation of the way that landscape is going is that the digital conversion is at their that's where they make all their money, right? They can flash more ads, so it's monetarily beneficial to them to convert it. So I think downtown especially we'll see some more conversions, but I think we want to be conscious of those in the neighborhoods too, and what you're talking about with the policy around it.
I see a couple went up on Opportunity Corridor.
Yeah.
And I know it's not our purview because that's a state route, I suppose. They had to go through ODOT or something.
No, I think it came to this commission. I thought
I missed that one. Then.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
It may have been, it was probably over.
It was a couple months ago.
Yeah.
They're already built. How can they come after they're built?
There was one from Opportunity Quarter. I didn't realize it was already built.
Right by
I
Orlando.
built them a while ago because they interrupted my bike rides because I couldn't go down the path because they
Really
blocked
didn't know
them.
who they were messing with.
Oh no. Yeah. No, seriously, I mean they were built this summer. So again, I don't remember seeing them, and I just assumed since it was on a state route, it was outside our purview.
Oh, it still needs to. Yeah, it's still.
So
that's
they flew in under the radar then.
I thought they came, but
Not that they came.
yeah.
We'll see who voted on.
Yeah, we'll see.
Anything Opportunity Quarter, I remember. So.
Just before we adjourn, reminder that we will not be having a meeting on January 2nd. Have a happy new year, and we'll be reconvening on January 16th of next year. So you have a whole month off without me. Sorry.
Super sad face.
I know.
Thank you, Adam, for filling in today. And thank you, Evelyn, for that update. We will officially adjourn at 10:40. Wishing everyone still online, no one in the room but us, but everyone else online, a happy holiday, and we'll see you in 2026.
Happy holidays.